Hello and welcome back to Social Security Post. Today I'm answering 3 very important questions that one of our subscribers asked. These questions go straight to the heart of what millions of seniors, SSI, and SSDI recipients are struggling with every day. Here are the 3 questions we're going to cover. Why was the $200 per month Social Security increase blocked by Senator Mike Crapo? And is there still a chance it could pass? How can seniors and disability recipients complain effectively when Congress does nothing to help those living in poverty? Why does Social Security use the CPI-W to calculate COLA instead of CPI-E? And is that fair for seniors? Stick with me through this video, because I'll not only answer these questions, but also explain what you can do about them. And before we begin, please hit the like button and subscribe to Social Security Post. That way, you'll never miss important updates that affect your benefits. Let's start with the first and biggest question. What happened to the $200 monthly increase? Back in February 2025, Senator Bernie Sanders reintroduced the Social Security Expansion Act. This bill promised to add $200 a month, or $2,400 a year, to everyone's Social Security checks. For millions of retirees, disabled workers, and SSI recipients, that would have been life-changing. To try to speed things up, Senator Sanders attempted to pass the bill using a process known as unanimous consent. Here's what that means. Unanimous consent allows the Senate to pass a bill immediately, without debate or a full vote, as long as no senator objects. It's often used for non-controversial items, but when Sanders asked for unanimous consent to pass the Social Security Expansion Act, one senator stood up to object. That senator was Mike Crapo, the ranking Republican on the Senate Finance Committee. With just those 2 words, "I object," the bill was stopped on the spot. So, why did Senator Crapo object? According to his own statements, he believes the $200 increase would make Social Security's long-term solvency problems worse. The 2025 trustees report projects that the trust fund will be depleted by 2033, leaving only about 77% of benefits payable. Crapo and other Republicans argue that raising benefits now without a broader plan to fix the program's finances could accelerate insolvency. He also raised concerns about how the bill would pay for the increase, since it proposed lifting the payroll tax cap and applying new taxes to high-income earners. In short, his objection wasn't just about blocking the bill outright, it was about saying the funding approach and long-term impacts weren't acceptable to him or his party. But just because unanimous consent failed doesn't mean the bill disappeared. After Crapo's objection, the Social Security Expansion Act was referred to the Senate Finance Committee. This is the key committee that handles Social Security. For the bill to move forward, the committee would need to hold hearings, debate amendments, and then vote it out to the full Senate. The problem is, if the chair doesn't schedule those steps, the bill stalls. That's where it stands now, alive in committee, but not advancing. And remember, even if it did reach the Senate floor, the math is tough. Because Social Security is excluded from budget reconciliation, the bill would need 60 votes to overcome a filibuster. With the Senate closely divided, that would mean significant bipartisan support. Supporters say the increase is urgently needed because so many seniors live near or below the poverty line. Opponents argue that adding benefits without a long-term solvency plan is reckless. The bottom line is that Senator Crapo's objection reflected those solvency and funding concerns. And until there's a broader bipartisan agreement on how to strengthen Social Security, the $200 increase faces steep challenges. Now let's move on to the second question. What can you do when it feels like Congress ignores seniors and disability recipients? The truth is, your voice matters more than you may think. Every representative and senator has staff whose job is to log every call, email, and letter from constituents. When large numbers of people speak up on the same issue, it gets attention. The most direct way to complain is to call the U.S. Capitol switchboard at 202-224-3121. This number connects you to your senator's or representative's offices. You can also go online to their official websites and use the contact forms to send a message. If you want to focus where it matters most, aim at the House Ways and Means Committee and the Senate Finance Committee, since they control Social Security legislation. And if your issue is personal, like a delayed claim or an overpayment, you can request casework assistance from your representative's office, which means staff will intervene directly with the Social Security Administration to help resolve it. When you call or write, keep your message short and clear. For example, my name is your name, and I'm a constituent from your zip code. Please support a vote on the Social Security Expansion Act or any legislation that raises benefits for seniors, SSI, and SSDI recipients. Millions of us are struggling, and we need action now. Even a simple message like this, repeated thousands of times by different people, puts pressure on Congress. It may not feel like it at first, but those calls and emails do add up, and lawmakers take note when they sense a growing movement. Finally, the third question: why is Social Security using CPI-W instead of CPI-E to calculate the cost of living adjustment, or COLA? The answer goes back to the 1970s. In 1972, Congress passed a law linking Social Security benefits to the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers, or CPI-W. Since then, every year, the COLA is determined by looking at the average CPI-W from July through September and applying that percentage increase to benefits in January. But here's the problem. CPI-W reflects the spending habits of working households, not retirees. Seniors typically spend more on healthcare, prescription drugs, and housing, categories that often rise faster than overall inflation. That's why the Bureau of Labor Statistics created the CPI-E, or Consumer Price Index for the elderly. Research has shown that if Social Security used CPI-E, COLAs would have been about 0.3% higher per year on average. Over time, that adds up to thousands of dollars more in benefits for seniors. So why hasn't it been changed? The CPI-E is considered experimental and not an official index under the law. For Social Security to switch from CPI-W to CPI-E, Congress would have to amend the Social Security Act. Bills have been introduced to make that change, but none have passed. Until lawmakers act, the COLA will remain tied to CPI-W, even though most experts and advocates agree that CPI-E better reflects the real cost of living for older Americans. So let's recap. The $200 monthly increase was blocked because Senator Mike Crapo objected, citing concerns about solvency and funding. The bill is still alive in committee, but it faces major hurdles unless Congress can agree on a long-term fix for Social Security. Seniors who are frustrated can and should call or write their lawmakers, because when thousands of voices are raised together, they do get noticed. And finally, COLA is tied to CPI-W instead of CPI-E because the law hasn't been updated, even though CPI-E would more accurately reflect seniors' real expenses. I hope this video helped bring clarity to these questions. If you found it useful, please hit the like button and subscribe to Social Security Post for more updates. And remember, if you have a Social Security topic or question you'd like me to cover in a future video, write it down in the comments. I'll be checking and might feature your question next time.